I've noticed that first person present is incredibly popular at the moment within the crime thriller genres. Do you think this is expected? How do you choose what tense and what point of view to write in? It's a good question. You can write in any tense you want, from any point of view you feel is best. Some authors prefer some particular tenses, particular point of view. Some authors vary according to the story and what fits the story best. So far, all of my books have been written in first person present tense, from one point of view only. And that is because I enjoy reading that kind of book. I enjoy reading an immersive novel with a lot of feeling. I kind of value feeling over thought when it comes to books, and I like simple narratives. You know, I admire people who write multiple point of views, multiple timelines, but I like a simple chronological story very much. There's nowhere to hide. Every page, every chapter, every scene has to be good. It has to earn its place, and I like that. I like a simple story structure, so I write first person present. But you can write whatever tense you like. It doesn't matter what's popular at the moment, I would say. Just write what you feel best suits the story. A lot of authors write a story and then they change the tense, so they change the point of view character during their own edits or during their editorial process with their agent or with their editor. So there's pros and cons. Third person is great in some ways because you can build up tension, because you can choose what the point of view character knows, i.e. the reader and the writer can almost be complicit in the story and they can know more than the point of view character, which is really interesting. And if you know as a reader that there's a bomb hidden under the table, and the writer obviously knows there's a bomb hidden under the table, but the main character doesn't know, it's exciting in a different way. It's very exciting, and it's a good way to build tension and to build secrets into your stories. Do I think it's to be expected, the first person point of view, present tense style? I don't know. I haven't got a clue. It doesn't matter what's to expect. It doesn't matter what's popular. Really, you've got to write your own story. Just read a lot and then write your own story, I would say. Like, I don't pay attention to too much to what other people are doing right now. I'm much more likely to pay attention to what Shirley Jackson did in a short story. I'm more likely to be influenced by some non-fiction about nature writing. So, sorry, I had to pause there because a flying tick flew at me. There's a lot of flying ticks here in Sweden in the forest this time of year. They're pretty badass. I don't like them a lot. I don't like them at all. Bernie's down there, keeping the moose at bay. How do you choose what tense and what point of view to write in? Is the final part of this question. I don't know. I think when I visualize, my writing process is that I come up with a scenario or an idea, and then I kind of visualize it for months and months. I try to understand who these characters are. I don't write down much. I try to keep it all in my head. And then when I start writing the first page, I've kind of made a decision how I'm going to write the book. But at the same time, all that can change in the first page because it needs to feel natural. That first page needs to start flowing, for me at least. In a first draft, I need to be enjoying it and getting a buzz out of it. And I normally am because I've visualized it for so long. I'm sorry, I was being eaten alive on the other side of this cabin. But we were talking about tenses and point of view characters. And first, I should say as well that like I'm no expert in the technicalities of writing. I've never studied a creative writing course. I've never done an MFA. So there are a lot of people far more qualified than me to talk about the pros and cons of different tenses, different structures, different approaches to point of view, whether that's first person, third person close, third person distant, omniscient. It's really a personal preference thing. The only thing I would say that I think is universally agreed is it's not good to do too much head hopping. So if you're jumping from one point of view character to another within a chapter, within a scene, within a paragraph, that can be really disconcerting and really bamboozling for the reader. And what you don't want is for the reader to be chucked out of the story, chucked out of that wonderful imaginary world that you've created. So I would say that stick with one point of view character at a time. I stick with one point of view character throughout the entire story, or at least I have done so far, because I prefer that. I want the reader to inhabit that point of view character and to know exactly what they're feeling, what they're thinking. But third person works great. Omniscient can work great. Stephen King can do that very well. They can all work fantastically well for different types of stories, and we all tell stories in completely different ways. That's the wonderful thing about writing. So try things, write a short story in first person present, write a short story in third person past, see what you enjoy, see what you like. I think in some ways a tense, nail-biting kind of thriller can lend itself really well to first person, just because it's so visceral. You're feeling everything that main character is feeling. So perhaps that's why you see a fair amount of that kind of writing, but you can do it any way you want. You can, if you look at No Country for Old Men, one of my favorites that I probably talk about too often, one point of view character, he's written in first person. The sheriff, I think it is written in third person, or the other way around, but one's written in first, one's written in third. They're all written in different ways, and it works fantastically well because you've kind of got one main protagonist who you're inside the head of, but you're aware of what the other characters are doing. It works fantastically well. So I hope that's answered your question. Thank you.